Hey, this is Dave with Marty Moose Adventures. I'm here in the Carson National Forest for a 5-day late November elk hunt. As you can see, it's cold, it's snowy, and the elk have been pushed hard all season. Finding them is going to be an adventure. I'm not a pro hunter. I'm just a guy who loves being outdoors. And this trip is extra special because it's my wife's first elk hunt. We're staying in a 19-foot Airstream Bambi, hiking ridges, blasting the hillsides, and soaking up every moment together. Along the way, we'll show the meals we pack, the gear that keeps us warm, and the wildlife we spot. And with a little luck, maybe, we'll bring home an elk for the freezer before the winter sets in. Stay wild, keep exploring, and let's get started. Finished setting up camp and decided to stretch my legs and explore the lower country behind the Bambi. Not even 100 yards onto the trail, the place was buzzing with life. Fresh bobcat, or maybe mountain lion tracks, deer, and elk sign everywhere. Coyote prints, cat scat. Every few steps there was something new. And then I walked right into a bull elk shed, lying on the side of the mountain, like the mountain left it there just for me. For a late season hunt, seeing this much activity so close to camp has me feeling pretty hopeful for the days ahead. Back at camp, I got to work on dinner. Tonight it's adacheta steaks, skirt steak known for its rich, beefy flavor, and the classic cut used for carne asada in Mexican cooking. I'm grilling it up with potatoes, onions, and fresh roasted hatch green chili. A warm tortilla on the side, a few slices of pear for sweetness, and a cold beer to top it all off. Not a bad way to get ready for the hunt. Check this out, guys. This is what the beavers do to make their dams. Looks like somebody else has cut here, but these are definitely beaver teeth. Right there. Beaver dam right in there. We went from 7,200 feet to 9,600 feet? 9,400 feet. So we're at 9,000 feet right now. Difference in 32 degrees. When we left, it was, I think, 39 degrees. Beautiful. Beautiful out here, guys. This is so exciting. The rain and sleet rolled in not longer after I got back to camp, and it didn't take much convincing to call it for the day. Instead of heading back out, I stayed in the Bambi, fired up the heater, and spent the afternoon editing videos. It actually turned into a nice break, listening to the storm hit the aluminum, sipping on something warm, and going through the footage I'd collected so far. Not the kind of day you plan on during an elk hunt, but sometimes the weather decides for you. And honestly, I didn't mind it one bit. Okay. Cool undershirt with a hoodie for the sun, t-shirt. And take North Face or Patagonia jacket, and then a vest over that, and then my Levi's, and that's it. I think we should be fine with that. T-minus 24 hours before opening morning. I headed out early, right as the sun started to light up the mountains. I picked a ridge one over from the one I scouted a couple days ago, hoping a new angle might give me something fresh to work with. It turned into an 8-mile hike with about 1,400 feet of climbing. Even though I didn't find any elk signs, no tracks, no fresh trails, I still covered a ton of new ground and learned a lot about how the animals are moving. I did run into 3 deer on the top ridge of the ridge, which at least told me something was using the area. The mud is so thick on my shoes. It creates a blanket on the rocks. It's kind of quiet when I'm walking. Pretty cool. I had to get off the road. The rocks and mud were just way too much. But now that I'm in here in these trees, there are no signs of elk anywhere in here. I'm really glad I walked up this before the hunt. Pretty disappointing. But maybe over this ridge we'll find them. We got snow flurries. There's Cat. It'd be cool to have a geologist tell us what's happening with this rock. See the top there here. So I got myself into a little pickle. I decided to go down one of these little valleys. And it's just like any other valley. The problem is I've got to get back to the trailer. My wife is on her way. She said she was leaving at 9 o'clock. It's 9:06 right now, 9:06 a.m. It takes about 2 hours. It takes about 2 hours to get up to the campsite. So I got to get myself out of this little valley so I can get back down to camp and clean up before she gets here. So I think I've got to do a little rough hiking. See you in a minute.
In the depths of silence, where echoes remain, you were the sunrise, and I was the rain. A collision of souls, opposing in flight. I was the darkness, you yearned for the light. Now you're gone, and I'm losing my mind, losing my mind, I'm losing my mind. Now you're gone. Why did you cut me up, bring me out, and leave me high and dry?
I could kick myself when I do that. Dumb things like that. I'm not even close to hell. Stupid.
Now you're gone. Why did you cut me up, bring me out, and leave me high and dry?
By the time I got back to camp, the hike felt worth it. Maybe not in sightings, but in knowledge. And with late season elk, sometimes the empty days tell you just as much as the good ones. I still needed a plan, but I wasn't discouraged yet. dinner tonight, we have green chili stew that my wife had prepared yesterday. So real easy to just warm up and clean up and go to bed. Most of the meals that we're going to have up here have been prepared. That way we can just warm them up after a long day of hunting. If you're wondering why I'm eating out of the pan, it's because I don't want to wash more dishes.
And your wife already ate.
And my wife already ate. My wife arrived earlier, went for about an 8-mile hike, and that was pretty frustrating. I didn't see any sign of elk, any fresh signs in 8-mile period. I did see 3 small deer, but no elk, so a little bit frustrating. We're 12 hours from opening morning. We're gonna relax this evening and get some good rest, and we'll be up in the morning. I really don't have a plan. This snowfall kind of hurt. The snowfall came in yesterday, and I think the higher elevations, some of the elk, it's hard to say if they're going to move down or not. Depends on how wet that snow was and how fast it melted. They can get some food from the grass. But tomorrow we're just gonna have a good time. So stay tuned and we'll see you tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. Opening morning, and we're headed out. We're just gonna hike up the road here a little ways, see if we spot anything. If we don't, then we'll have to get in the Jeep and start driving around, see what we can find. It's about 7:30 in the morning. We hiked about a good 3 miles. Didn't see any tracks. We saw some turkey. We saw some, I don't know if it's a little bobcat. We saw a coyote. But we didn't see any elk tracks. So we're going to head back to camp, get some breakfast, pack up our bags, and we're heading to the high country. Let's see what we find up there. I think they were going up.
And then back down?
I think they were down and they went up and the hunters came in. I think. Huh? I'll leave them their scent for all the other elk.
This is scary.
Wow. I wanted to show you guys. I like this. See that every now and then they do that to move their scent and let it out. Don't look up.
Tell me, baby, what's a man? Oh, what's a man? Tell me, baby, what's a man? What's a man got to do? Tell me, baby, what's a man? Oh, what's a man? Tell me, baby, what's a man? What's a man?
Morning, guys. Well, what a beautiful morning. So yesterday was quite the day. We hiked a lot, about 6 miles, and she did wonderful, but unfortunately she got food poisoning. And last night we got in about 6 and she went straight to bed. And I figured that today we'd just sleep in and let her recover, see how she feels, and get back to it if we can later this evening or tomorrow. But we woke up to winter wonderland. It's beautiful out here. We got a late start and tried pushing into a few of the lower elevation roads, but each one was the same story. Snow, mud, ruts, and in one spot, we nearly got ourselves stuck. It didn't take long to realize we were pretty much bound to the paved roads for the day. Not ideal for an elk hunt, but sometimes the mountains make the call for you. So instead of forcing it, we decided to just enjoy the day, to take in the beauty and the culture of this place we love. The snow was incredible, sparkling like diamonds as the sun moved across the landscape. Along the way, we even watched a pair of bald eagles taking advantage of a downed cow. One of those raw, wild moments that reminds you how alive these mountains really are. We kept exploring and ended up at Aldo Leopold's original home site, the little house he built right here in the Carson National Forest back in 1912. The Forest Service notes that on February 2nd of that year, Leopold wrote to his fiancée, Estela Beguer, telling her the agency had approved $650 for the home he designed in Tres Piedras as a new supervisor's quarters. Later that year, after they married, they named it Mi Casita. This was where Leopold began shaping the ideas that would eventually become his land ethic, the foundation of his classic Sand County Almanac. Here in these same forests, he started seeing land as a whole living system, a perspective that later became what we now call ecosystem management. Today, Aldo Leopold is considered by many to be the father of wildlife ecology. Morning, everybody. It is day 3 of the elk hunt. We found them yesterday evening, finally, again. And we're heading back to that area to see if we can get us an elk. Happy anniversary, Alicia. Everyone, so we're back at the Airstream. We're out all day. We left this morning at 4:45. Took us 45 minutes to get to our spot, and we got there. We hiked around a little bit as soon as the sun came up, and then we drove a little bit. The roads were so muddy that we really couldn't go too deep into the forest, just because the snow was deep and the roads were so muddy. I didn't want to get stuck, so we drove up to a few different areas and then closed out the day by going back to an area we know that the elk migrated to, and we followed some tracks, tried to find them in there, and we did find them. They're all over the place. The tracks are everywhere. We set up in a big open area until sunset, and we still didn't come across anything. I think the only thing that we saw today, we were going down this really muddy road, and an elk ran in front of us, and we didn't have enough time to get set up to. Lost opportunity on that moment, but we're gonna go out tomorrow again and see what we can do. We're hoping that we can get out there early enough that the roads will be frozen, and that will allow us to drive around in that really good area for a little bit, and if that's the case, we may get lucky. So cross your fingers for us, and we'll keep you posted. But for now, we're having an anniversary dinner. So we got some orange juice with ice. We got some arugula salad with some pine nuts, pinon. We got some lentil soup. And then, what's the other one?
Beans and tomato sauce.
And then this one's a beans and tomato sauce. Super yummy. The arugula salad's really yummy. So, happy anniversary to my wife of 24 years. We're going to enjoy the evening and then just call it a night. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. Today is day 5 of the elk hunt. About 7:15 a.m. in the morning, and we're posted up just waiting and hoping the elk come through this area. Really good area for the elk, but it's still just a matter of chance that they're gonna walk out. It's 14 degrees right now, and it's cold. I can feel the chill on my back. So if that gives you an idea of what these Sitka jackets will do, there's not much more I can fit under as far as layering. So it is what it is. Yeah, and I'm cold. We worked hard this hunt. We initially thought they would be in lower grounds, already migrated. We started day one in the lower grounds, and it was pretty much a bust. Didn't see a whole lot of track, and even though while I was scouting a couple days before, they were there. They were not there for opening day. Day two, we decided to head up to the high country, and we actually did run across a herd of tracks, followed those, and we found where they were hanging out is really incredible because they were migrating, and their tracks were herd tracks were coming up to the top of the ridge from all different directions. It was just simply beautiful. It's almost as if they were following some type of beacon of light. I'd never seen that before. We didn't see any, but they were there. We figured out where they were going and went to that location, found their tracks all over that area. We actually saw a cow jump out in front of us. We weren't quick enough to jump out and get it, but they were there. So we spent the next couple of days trying to find them in that area, and just wasn't happening. I think that they were on their tippy toes hiding behind the trees from us. So I decided to come up to the high country and check out a spot that I had seen while scouting several weeks back, and I knew the snow was going to be pretty rough, and it was. It was up to my knees, and hiking half a mile took long, and it was exhausting. But we did find them in here. I was able to glass up to the ridge, and they were feeding up on the ridge. And then I saw them in the trees, but we couldn't get a shot. We weren't quite prepared because we were walking through the snow, and we were sweating and exhausted, and we should have been taking our time through the snow, and we weren't. We were kind of hurried. We were trying to get to a better spot, and while we were doing that, they walked out into the open, and they saw us. They busted us. So we weren't able to get another shot at that point. But here we are in the last day, and I'm giving it 7:15. I'm giving it until 8 o'clock. That's what I told my wife. 8:15 at the very latest. And then we'll head back to the Jeep, and that'll be it. We gave it the best that we could. Some mistakes that we made, but really it's just being quick, and we're not that fast. So anyway, day 5, we'll talk to you guys in a bit. This is Dave with Marty Moose Adventures. We're extremely happy that you joined on this adventure with us. Sorry we couldn't get an elk and show you that part, but we're glad that you joined us. Please like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think, and stay wild, keep exploring.